question is about rulings made by our country's top judicial body, the U.S. Supreme Court.
In 1937, Franklin Delano Roosevelt attempted to pack the Supreme Court by proposing mandatory retirement for justices at the age of 70. That would have allowed Roosevelt to recommend justices who would support his New Deal policies. True or false? A Supreme Court decision cannot be overruled.
Barbara Eden, we're over to you. True or false that a Supreme Court ruling cannot be overruled?
True.
Any examples that you can think of?
Nope.
Okay. Isabel Sanford, Supreme Court rulings, true or false, can they not be overruled?
True.
They cannot be overruled.
That's the highest, Supreme.
All right. Mark Price?
I'd like to buy a vowel, please.
No.
I believe that is false. I believe that you can overrule the Supreme Court.
All right. Tony Randall?
It's false, of course, because the Supreme Court, the next court, can overrule what the previous court did if a similar case comes up, and that's happened many times.
Oh, sorry. We have 2 trues and 2 falses. Let's go to our American public. They were split down the middle as well. 46% said true, 50% said false, and 4 didn't know. For the correct answer, let's listen to a CBS News correspondent who co-anchors the CBS magazine West 57th, Meredith Vieira. Meredith, true or false, a Supreme Court decision cannot be overruled? True or false?
That's false. The Supreme Court has the authority to reconsider and overrule its previous decisions, and has done so over 160 times. The court overruled itself in the landmark case of Brown versus the Board of Education. That decision had reversed the 1896 case of Plessy versus Ferguson, which resulted in the separate but equal doctrine. The Brown case, however, established that separate is inherently unequal. The court's willingness to reconsider itself is another example of how the Constitution endures the ages.
Well, the men, Tony and Mark, got that right.
The question was a little bit misleading.
Was it misleading, Tony?
It seemed to suggest that perhaps there was some other body that could overrule
That
it,
they
like
could
the
overrule.
Congress or something like that. No, that the Supreme Court itself can overrule itself.
So the
That's
Supreme
all.
Court can overrule
Yes.
itself.
That's right.
Yes.
So they would have gotten that if they
Right.
had known.
So the score now, nevertheless, is Randall 2, Eden 1, Sanford 1, and Mark Price 2. We go to our next question. It's a question about presidential powers during wartime.
During World War II, President Franklin Delano Roosevelt ordered the imprisonment of 110,000 Japanese Americans. They were all denied their constitutional right to a trial by jury. True or false? The president can suspend the Constitution in time of war.
We begin this time with the actress who made Louise Wheezy Jefferson a household name, Isabel Sanford. Isabel, can a president suspend the Constitution in times of war? What do you think?
I'll say true. Don't ask me why.
All right.
I guess this
Mark
whole,
Price.
I guess this whole Iran-Contra thing has proven the president can suspend the Constitution anytime he feels like it. But, let's see. I think, I don't know. This is going to be a guess on my part. True.
All right. Tony Randall.
Yes, it is true. And Roosevelt was not the only president who's done that. Lincoln did it, actually.
What did he do to suspend the Constitution? Do you remember?
I'm not certain.
You just think that he did.
Something like habeas corpus or something like that. He temporarily suspended. In time of war, the president has extraordinary powers, and that's in the Constitution.
Very interesting. Barbara Eden.
Well, I'll have to say true, but I don't agree with it.
We're not asking you.
I don't think it's right.
It's a very tricky question,
Yes.
because since I believe the Constitution gives him the power to overrule the Constitution, he's not overruling the Constitution.
No, the question is, can he overrule the Constitution? I don't. Well,
I think in time of war, he's given that right. So in that sense, he's not overruling the Constitution.
All right.
So it's either true or false, depending on how. I will accept either answer.
well, we wouldn't. I think it's worded very well. The national poll, the results are 49% true and 46 false, almost split, and 5% didn't know. Well, this question will be correctly answered by America's funniest and favorite impressionist, Rich Little. Rich, true or false, the president can suspend the Constitution in time of war?
That is false. The president cannot suspend the Constitution in time of war, or any other time for that matter. But some aspects can be suspended when the public safety is threatened. Of course, in President Reagan's case, well, he would do it if he could remember what the Constitution was.
Thank you, Rich. Well, let's add up our scores. Tony, what did you say? You all said true, didn't you? You're still concerned about this, aren't
Now,
you?
I said true, and then I also said false, so I think I was right.
No. You said true. So we all were wrong about that, I
I
guess.
said true, but I didn't agree with it, you see, so
All
I think
right.
I really meant false.
So here is our score. Tony Randall is at 2, Barbara Eden is at 1, Isabel is at 1, and Mark Price is at 2. We go on. Our next question is about a phrase that is one of our country's most famous.
On the evening of September 15th, 1787, Robert Challis, assistant clerk to the Pennsylvania General Assembly, was paid $30 for copying the Constitution's 4,440 words. The document, which took our founding fathers almost 4 months to write, was copied by Challis in under 40 hours. True or false? The phrase "of the people, by the people, for the people" is found in the Constitution.
All right, from Family Ties, Mark Price.
See,
True or false? The phrase "of the people, by the people, for the people" is found in the Constitution.
I didn't go to regular school, John. I was tutored on the set, and I'm regretting it now.
That's no excuse.
Let's see.
Is that from the Constitution?
No help from Tony Randall. Okay.
True or false?
I believe that is true.
That is part of the
I
Constitution.
believe that is part of the Constitution.
All right, Tony Randall.
False. Gettysburg Address.
Barbara Eden.
False.
Isabel Sanford.
Come on, stick with me. Stick with me. Come on.
All right, let's go to our national poll. 82% said that it was true, that it is from the Constitution. 16% said it was false, and 2% didn't know. For the correct answer, let's go to one of the stars of the new CBS hit, Designing Women, Meshach Taylor. Meshach, the phrase "of the people, by the people, for the people" is found in the Constitution. Is that true or false?
The answer is false. The phrase "of the people, by the people, and for the people" was written by Daniel Webster and made famous by the man who freed the slaves, Abraham Lincoln. He said it at the end of his Gettysburg Address, given some 90 years after the Constitution was written. That phrase appears nowhere in the Constitution, but it embodies the spirit of the document, even though it took 80 years before blacks were really included.
Thank you, Meshach. Tony Randall, you were so right. It is the Gettysburg Address. We have Isabel is 2, Mark is 2, Barbara is 2, and Tony Randall, with his great wisdom, is 3. We'll take a break. We're back with another question for you about the history of our Constitution.
A Bill of Rights is what the people are entitled to against every government on earth.